Hello, good night. My name is Randall Sinanan, and my sister asked me to say a couple of things about for Father's Day, and starting with a little bit about myself. So, my background is really agriculture, but I've been in sales, I think, like my whole life. Because what I really didn't realize is we were trying to sell our ideas or something to somebody, our point of view. I have a friend who said, "Look, that's just me being my manipulative self." Uh, but I beg to differ with him. But she asked me to list some of my likes and dislikes. I mean, I like music. I like listening to live music. I like cooking. I love eating. So I preferred, as I think as I got older, I prefer to probably find a nice restaurant that I could have a meal at, and rather than probably going to hang out and stuff. So she asked me about my relationship with my kids, and I think that generally it has been good. I would say that, of course, I'd feel that it could have been a lot closer, especially now that they are young men. But I would like to think that, especially because of the environment with both their mother, I mean, I've been divorced over almost 20 years now, and our family, meaning my mom, my dad, my sister, that we have been able to go through some difficult times, but we have also been able to bond, especially around food. She asks about my most memorable my fatherhood experience. I don't think I could bring that down to one, but I've always had jobs where I was able to work outdoors and being able to carry my kids with me, especially after I used to work for a state company, and when they closed down, I work as a consultant in that industry, agriculture. And going to the field was my job. But I loved it because I was able to carry. I didn't have a boss there out in the field. I didn't have anybody over my shoulder. I didn't have an office space. So I packed my kids in my vehicle and I would carry them, or I'd pack them, and we would go and we'd visit the countryside, and we would do a lot of things that, I mean, they didn't think was work for me, and it was certainly a lot of fun. And I think they all love the outdoors. In terms of what lessons um, I always try to impart to them to be truthful. I mean, it's tough even for adults to be truthful, or even say the truth in a way that, probably, everybody get defensive about it. But I've tried by trying to say that to them. If they've asked me something, I give them a straight answer. And if I can't answer them at the time, I will let them know. In terms of things that may be embarrass them, they are boys. So as they got older, they didn't want I didn't give them any hugs and kisses, especially in front of their friends. Although I think now they sort of relax in that now. And in terms of, I think spending time with your kids, everybody is talk about it. But when I ask my kids, some of the times that they spent when I was living in St. Madeleine, I mean, I lived on a lot of, I mean, next to a golf course. So, there was always a lot of place for the boys to play. And they remember some of those things. I mean, we have the World Cup of cricket and football inside the house and outside. So there are a lot of fun things there. So I would say spending time with them. Of course, I wish I could spend more time, but the thing is, be grateful for the time that you have to spend with them. In terms of my dad, well, his background, he was a process plant operator his whole life. He loved his job. I just, he was a bit pragmatic. I wouldn't say stoic. He was more the quiet one. My mom was more the talkative one, the disciplinarian. But as I got older, I realized, a lot of things that concern us, me and my brother, my sister, and myself, we will always discuss with them. But we just didn't know that. I'm the first, so I'm the eldest, so I probably tended to get my own way a lot as I grew up, but also there's a lot of friction because of course I wanted to do my own thing. What lesson or what kind of man my dad was? Very quiet, but he had his way. We would call it psychology now, I suppose, but he had his way of figuring out situations with you without having to ever raise his voice. I think my dad only raised his hand for me once, and the one lesson that I learned from him, I remember in university first year, and after the first term, he probably felt I could have done better. So he told me, he said, are you sure you're studying when you stay during the week? And I got really angry and I said, you know what, I'm not going to come home any weekend. This is during the second term. So from July to April, I did not go home any weekend. Guess what? Passed all my exams with ease. I showed him, but I didn't realize that was his plan. So, so definitely he did teach me that lesson. How his quirks a little bit, I suppose. I never really was embarrassed as such, but I remember a couple of times, especially when I was a teenager, he would put on the music of our day and he would listen to it and dance to it, and I found that a little bit. it was a little bit kicksy, I suppose, but I don't think it really embarrassed me as such. But like I said, he had his way of saying things. His way of, like, for example, a compliment from my dad. I remember once he come to watch me play football. He said, "Boy, you're looking like Maradona, boy." So I started to feel a little good. He said, "But like a fat Maradona." But that was really him telling me that, he felt probably I look as if I could play the game a little bit. So I would say on the Father's Day, for those who have their dads still, cherish your memories with them. You may not agree with them, they may not agree with the choices that you made in your life, but they're your father. They gave life to you. They had a choice, and they made a choice, and they're there regardless or not if you think they are, but they're there for you. So I would say cherish the time that you have with them.